Ramon, what's your topic?
Keeping in touch. Wondering if you guys, as you get older, is it becoming harder to be able to keep in touch with the people that you're close with? Is technology making it seemingly easier, but also harder at the same time? Just wondering what you guys think.
I think technology makes it easier. I think it makes it less. I think it makes it easier, but I also think it disguises the fact that you are, in fact, not actually keeping in contact with people. You're keeping them at bay to a certain degree. Sometimes, like texting, for instance, is a way to sort of not talk to people. I often find sometimes, and I have to remind myself that, like, in order to really actually have a conversation with someone, you need to pick up the phone and call them and have a good hour-long conversation with a person. Otherwise, you're just sort of popping in and out of each other's lives. I mean, that is a relationship. I'm not saying that's bad, but at the same time, like, I always have to force myself to remember to, like, call my parents every once in a while. I think the other day it had been like 2 months since I talked to my parents. I'm like, I should probably call them.
You're just using the wrong emojis.
Really? Yeah. I use exclusively the poop and the really smiley face emoji. The one goes,
Yeah. I like that one a lot too.
I love that one. It's my
like
favorite.
The line of teeth.
Yeah.
There's no corners to the mouth. There's like, yeah,
what it looks like.
It's interesting. I think technology's made it easier to stay in contact with people, but that ease has also made us all feel like we're worse at it. Mm-hmm. I feel like you're in touch with too many people now. I imagine back in the day when Nick was growing up, you went off and stuff. 20s. You know what I mean? You started parsing people off. You know what I mean? You had your core group of best friends that you could have a conversation with on the phone or hit up through a letter or this, that, or the other. But then we never lose touch with anyone anymore. You know what I mean? Now it totally is. I wonder what this person from high school is doing. Go to Facebook. Oh, there they are. 2 kids doing this. Da da da. And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm then know all about their lives or something. But before, you never would have worried about that. They're gone. They're dead to you. You don't care. It doesn't matter.
But doesn't that make us superficial? Doesn't that form a lot of superficial, like, contacts that you feel forced to keep in contact with? Like, it's the nature of life that it moves on, right? Relationships develop and they blossom, and sometimes they stick around and sometimes they just kind of run their course. But, like, I have to find that people will reach out and that I haven't talked to in years and be like, yo, what's up? Like, we should hang out. And I'm like, I haven't talked to you in years. Like, I don't have any inclination to reconnect with you. Otherwise, we clearly would have connected. Like, I still talk to some of my best friends from, like, 7th grade. Mm-hmm. And those are people that when they call, I'm like, oh, I should pick this up. I haven't talked to Ryan in so long. I haven't talked to Stu in a while. But there are those other, like, Facebook is fake. Like, it just is. Like, there's not a lot of real shit happening on Facebook. Even people that go out there and say, like, I have these real issues. I find that there's still a level of fakeness to that interaction where you're asking people for sympathy or asking people for support. And while you're getting it, like, wouldn't it be better if that person picked up the fucking phone and was like, yo, what's going on with you? Like, should we get together? Like, do you need someone to come over to your house and take care of you right now?
But I think that's when you start getting into how the people you are really close to, the people that would call and do that. And that's what I think. I think the fact that, like, you have a gajillion friends on Facebook, or you know what's happening in these, like, not superficial, but the people who are on, like, the outskirts of your friendship circle, you know a lot about. I know so much about, like, you check Facebook, or even Twitter. I know about former coworkers' kids and that, and I don't know anything about that on, like, my friends from high school, right?
Right.
Like, they don't use social media that way. So I don't know. I went to Vegas with Poe this past weekend and caught up with him and stuff. And, like, I didn't know some of the things going on in his life, and that makes me feel like a bad friend. But then again, we are both the type not to want to get on the phone and talk at length for a million different things. You know what I mean?
Sure, but to your earlier point, like, doesn't that create some sort of artificial or fake, like, relationship with people?
No, it does. And that's what I'm saying is it's so easy to get hung up on that and be like, I can't believe that I know Jane Doe's kid's birthday, or this just happened, or da, and I don't know what's happening in Poe's life. But in reality, I don't really know what's happening in that person's life. I'm watching, like, a TV show. Right. And so I feel like I'm closer to that person when in reality I'm not. It's all your perception.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I couldn't disagree more with what you were saying from the beginning of, like, I think it just weeds people out that I don't need in my life. Like, the people that I still talk to, and the people, whether it's a phone call or a text or hanging out at Starbucks, whatever it is, like, those people are always have been there and will be there. And I feel like the acquaintances on Facebook or whatever it is, like, I don't think that texting is any less legitimate than a phone call or hanging out or whatever.
Thank you.
Just in the sense that, like, I mean, I grew up using AIM, and it's like I would aim everybody, but the conversations I had with my core group of motherfuckers, those are the ones that matter. And you some of these people, they go off to do school or whatever, so I don't see him for a year at a time, or I only see him during summer or spring break or whatever it is, or they move to work in a different state or whatever. Whenever I do see them, we catch up, like I'm sure you guys do, where it's like not a day has passed.
Sure.
In between that time, we'll have a phone call here, but I think even more important than the phone calls, because the phone calls really are, all right, let's catch up, let's have an hour-long conversation of where you are in your life. The single word text responding to something that just happened is, I think, way more important. That's the things where I'm like, this is our relationship, and like this is us keeping in touch. Is here's one joke, here's one response. I'm not going to talk to them for 3 more months, but we had that moment, and that's really what mattered.
So I can see that for like keeping the fire lit, But I mean, to me, like, and that is important because I do that with a lot of my friends. I'll just like occasionally randomly text horrible pictures to people, just let them know I'm still alive. You always get the response back. I'm like, that's what I was listening. But I still don't think that's a real relationship, right? I still think that's a way of saying I'm pushing you off until I have time for you. And that might be 6 months, that might be 9 months.
Like that moment, Nick, that is you. But like that's the most you.
Right, but and to Greg's earlier point, like we just have, what is the point of keeping 90 of those relationships going? Like when you could be keeping the 5 real relationships in your life going that you really needed. Like,
well, I'm not sending those pictures to more than 5 people. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about the mass text I send people. I'm talking about this thing that I want to say, I'm saying to this person because they want to hear it, And I think that's the difference is, man, like, yeah, fuck that. I don't want 90 super close friends. I got my group,
right.
And like that group is, it's solid and it is what it is. And we're spread out a little bit, but it's like, I talk to them. I can't imagine talking to them more. I guess that's my thing is it's like, I keep in touch with them literally as much as humanly possible. Just given the fact that we have lives.
What does as much as humanly possible mean? Is there a scheduled phone call? Okay.
I mean, and I think that's the most important part. It's like my relationship with Kevin. It's like I literally see him every day.
Too much.
And
some might say too much.
Some would, but it's like that's just what we do. It's like we leave work, we go get dinner together, then we get home, and we'll text each other at least once about something. That's what we do. But then my other friends, like Curran, who's my best friend since middle school, like now I live with him. But even then, it's like we only get our 10 minutes a day of kind of just like back and forth talking shit or whatever. Sure. But it's like, even when there was times when he was in college or whatever, and I'd only see him on weekends or, a little, like maybe once a week. It's like, that's just what we did then. Or my other really good friend, Winnie, now she's like going to Yale. And it's like, this is the least I've seen her in my entire life since I've been a human being that actually had emotions and thoughts. Like I was in contact with her constantly. And now it's like, I speak to her way less, but doesn't make our relationship any less valuable. Or when I talk to her and have that, whether it's an hour-long catch-up or a 3-minute, she called me, hey, I'm about to shoot something, but what's up? Like that doesn't tarnish the relationship at all. I feel like I am just as much in touch with her as I've ever been.
I feel like there's only 4 people I ever talk to on the phone, like with any regularity at all. It's my mom and my dad and Ramon and Aaron. Other than that, like I don't talk to anyone on the phone. I don't like getting phone calls from people. It's weird. Like, like from the like more peripheral people when someone's calling me, I'm like, why are you calling me? Because like to me, it's like something bad happened. That's what I always think about when I see like some random person. I'm like, are you like, who the fuck is this? Mm-hmm. Is this like either like a doctor's appointment that I forgot about or someone's dead? Did I? You guys know what? Because like no one calls each other anymore. I wish I talked to a few other people more, like my siblings and stuff, but we just really text. More to Nick's point though, like I just feel like the cell phones and like email and especially text messages and stuff like have given people a way to get in touch with you where it's like people expect a response. Like it's too easy to get in touch with people, and then like
and then you like keep Instagram the other day and was like, "Yo, I'm in town for tonight. Hit me up." And I'm like, on Instagram.
That's how the kids do it now.
I mean, anyway, like
fuck
like,
you. You have my cell phone. Like, why would you choose Instagram?
That is the annoying part when you find a DM or something from somebody.
Clearly,
like,
you didn't care about getting in touch with me.
You got my phone.
Sorry to interrupt you, Colin. I apologize.
No, it's fine. I just to me, it's just like that's the thing. I get random texts from some people sometimes where I'm like,
cool.
It's cool to like hear from you, but like we're not like boys or anything like that. Like I don't need to like we don't need to keep in touch just because we can.
Right.
I'm not trying to be a dick. It's just like I agree with you. Like it's nice to focus on the relationships you do have and harness whatever energy you have to kind of maintain those relationships as opposed to like spreading yourself too thin. And that's the lesson I think of a cell phone and text messaging specifically is just
social media is largely bullshit. It's just a fun way to interact with other people and your friends specifically. But the whole text message thing is like, it's just too easy. And then like when you don't get back to someone, you feel bad about it. But it's like, what do we have to say to each other? This is weird. Like, I don't want to hang out, or I don't like, we have nothing to say to each other. Like you said, we haven't seen each other in several years or whatever it is. So I do think that like the way we used to communicate, when we were younger, when we knew, like, I still remember the phone numbers of like my friends when I was a kid before I had a cell phone, and I'll always remember those numbers. But I don't know anyone's phone number today because it's just like in my phone, and it's just very easy. It's very casual, and so so I find it frustrating in a sense because like there are times where I'm like I get a phone call even from someone I love that I want to talk to, and I'm like I just don't want to talk to you right now.
Yeah,
and like there's no way, like I saw it. Like we all have our cell phones far up our assholes, right? Like
that'd
be hard.
Totally.
Like that's the thing.
Vibrate though,
and we've all been on the other side too, where it's like I totally called you or texted you, and now you're tweeting, or like now it's like
yeah.
Oh, that's
so it's just like
that's the shitty thing is you can't lie to anyone anymore. You're like, yo, I'm just laying low this weekend, and then someone's like, yo, but on your Twitter you're at a fucking bar right now. I can tell, and I'm like, well. Yeah. Shit.
Well, that promotes being a good friend.
Call me out.
Fucking don't lie. And
well, let's take the hint.
You
got to take the social hint on that.
It's like
one.
I don't want to hang out with you.
Yeah, just tell them that then. I mean, like that's the thing is
you
like
know you can't say it to people.
Yes, you can though, and that's the weeding out. Or just say, I'm doing this thing.
Can I come?
No.
Yeah. Okay. What time should I be there?
Because it's my other friend's thing.
But that's I love Colonel. Yeah, I'm a big Colonel fan. Why can't I hang out with
Colonel? Loves it. The Colonel loves me.
The Colonel.
See, I picture a kernel of corn.
That's I picture the Colonel.
But to me, it's really just a matter of like there are people that have had my number. Like my number has been the same forever, and like there are people that have had like
555 Italian beef.
Yeah, Italian 555 Italian beef. There are people that like I hear randomly, and I'm like I don't even know who the fuck this is, because I haven't had the number, or people that I just casually give my number to in the past few years that like text me over and over again. It's like,
yeah,
come on. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick. I really am not trying to be a dick. It's just like, we're not at that level. We don't have to text about everything.
Right.
Like I don't.
And do you ever get like, hey, I texted you a couple days ago. What's going on? And you're just kind of like, I didn't respond to you.
Yeah. Like
to be fair, sometimes I do, like we get so many text messages that I legitimately miss text.
Oh, your text messages you're ridiculous though. Like how many text messages? Let me see your phone right now.
Oh. No, how many do I have like that are
unread?
Like I've never seen anything
More
like this in
importantly,
my life.
how many emails are unread, or if it was possible, let's go in your head and see how many emails you have read but have no idea.
What is your text at right
28 messages.
Oh, that's not bad. When I saw
that's not bad.
10 notifications. No,
because I remember seeing it at like 90.
1,800 emails.
Wow.
I remember seeing it at like 90. That's unfathomable to me. I'll read every text. You don't know if I read it or not. It's not a big deal.
The thing is, I read every text, but I don't know why some of these go unread. I think it's because of group messages.
You don't click on the messages. You just read them when they're on your phone.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
And then that's it.
So it's problematic in the sense that I need it. We don't have privacy anymore. The only way to have privacy from people is to just ignore them. And that's the thing. And that's a huge problem for me. But like it goes both ways. Like Ramon and I talk on the phone like once a month, maybe for like several hours.
Yeah.
But I talk to Aaron probably, I don't know, like 10, 15, 20 hours a week sometimes on the phone. But I won't talk to because we'll just be on the phone like from 1 till 4 in the morning or something like that.
Yeah.
And the time just goes by fast. But if I'm on the phone that long with like my
guidance counselor.
Yeah, like just someone. Like I'd be like staring at the clock being like, what the fuck?
I mean, it makes me wonder if I had any conversation with you where it was like 4 a.m. and we were like, you want to go to sleep? I'll hang up first. You want to hang up?
But like for the people that like you really do have something to say to that you don't see every day, talking on the phone is effective. That's why I talk to Aaron. That's why I talk to Ramon, because it's like we can text back and forth for 10 hours or we can just talk for 2.
Nah, see, I love texting because it gets to the point. Here's what I have to say. What do you have to say about it? We're good.
I hate it though.
None of this. What's the weather like?
You're
a deep sighs. What's going on?
You're a short texter.
You're a short texter. I don't like texting you.
Yeah, me neither.
I like calling you and I know you hate it. But
I'm like General Sam Lane. All right, I get to the point. He is Lois Lane's father, and he's a general in the U.S. Army. He's very direct.
The point.
Makes sense.
He would say K. He would send the thumbs up and the emoji.
Yeah,
I'm using more emojis.
I'm going to call you anyway.
I'm using you more emojis. Oh yeah,
that's all you're worth. You're only worth the thumbs up.
He can't even type 4 letters. Thumbs up. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and recently,
know what that means.
Recently I've been having my grandma call me and just being like, you never call me. And I'm like, well, see, I answered now. And that's where I feel bad because I know, they always say, they just want your time, and it's really, sometimes I don't want to give my time to talk to my grandma for like a half hour, and I feel.
Well, and then when you do, you're talking about giving her time, and it's like this is
well,
unproductive.
yeah, exactly. Like we're not talking about anything, and then I get calls from my brother being like, you really got to call Grandma Dolores, and I'm like, well, now we're sitting here talking about this, and like this is exactly what I wanted to avoid.
So yeah, I refuse to let anyone like hijack my life that way. My family's known.
Your mom will give you that guilt trip.
No,
though.
my family, I broke them of that, unfortunately, and it's actually gone the opposite way, where now they feel like not scared to call me, but they feel like they're really putting me out if they call me. And so I had to call my parents the other day and be like, let's backpedal a little bit. Perhaps I was too abrasive with my strategy with you guys. I would like you to call me at least once a week and let me know you're alive. Like I'm trying to get a standing
but
like
Matt would
Sunday.
tell you.
Oh, Matt, yeah, of course. Matt gives me all the updates, but it's different because I can't get whatever their side of whatever story is. Because sometimes they're at conflict with Matt.
No, never.
And so sometimes like
Scarpino,
sometimes they'll be
man?
pissed at each other and I'll be like, ooh. And I just get Matt's side. I'm like, I'm going to dive into the other side and get my mom's side. And then somewhere in the middle generally is the truth.
But what did your mom say to you where she's like, I see that you forgot that we exist?
My mom is also the queen at sending very passive aggressive texts.
Oh my God.
Where you don't know because she's not, like our parents' generation didn't grow up on texting.
Not
so
at
they
all.
don't really know how to do it, nor do they know proper punctuation or spell check. And so they don't.
Oh my God.
The message comes through and my mom's messages can either be construed as hilarious or biting. Like fucking frostbite.
Yeah.
And so she texted the other day. She was like, so I see that you forgot that we exist. And I was like, is there a joke there? Or when I call, am I calling into a fucking shitstorm?
Am I going right to war?
Yeah.
Am I going
Is it
to
going to
war?
war? Whoa.
Jesus.
That's not how it works.
Mom,
what are you doing?
Did you just grapefruit dial me?
No, but I feel like as an adult, you have to take sort of the responsibility for that. And now I'm trying to reach back out to my parents and be like, I know we have a good relationship, but it's not a very close relationship anymore. I don't really know what's going on in their day-to-day lives.
Yeah.
And it actually broke my heart. My mom like went in for a minor surgery and I found out about it like 6 months later. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, you're in your 60s. Like that's even minor surgery when that's put you under could be, there could be complications. Like I want to know about this stuff. If you're going to do that when I come down. And she's like,
Well, yeah. I mean, was
like, fuck.
your mom starting to think, oh, Nick's too busy, I probably shouldn't bother him?
Well, they do that, but also I feel like there's a level of like, it's just a weird level of all these crossed wires that you have to break through and be like, no, here's how it should be. You should keep calling me and I should be annoyed, but I will pick up the phone and then I'll get through that the annoyance. In the first like 20 seconds, you realize that I love my parents and I really do want to hear what's happening in their life. But now I'm doing the thing where I'm like, I'm going to be the guy that's annoying them. Because now my mom picks up the phone. She's like, yo, what do you want? I'm watching CSI in Miami. And I'm like, can you pause it? She's like, I can't pause because I'm recording CSI fucking Chicago and CSI LA and I can't pause right now. I have to watching this live. I'm like, well, call me back.
Which one has LL Cool J in it?
I don't even know.
That's the one with
my
Chris
mom can
O'Donnell.
tell
Deep
you.
Blue Sea.
Okay.
The funny
Maybe you should call your mom and ask her that.
I will. You want me to text her right now? She would totally know.
The sad thing about like my mom listens to the show, so she'll get some insight into
What
this.
a Betty Ann.
The sad thing about my mom gets mad that I don't talk to her more, and I do feel very disconnected from my family. My family was all back in real America, and it's hard for us to to keep in touch with all of those people and my nephews and nieces and brother and sisters. Like there's just a lot of tendrils as we talked about before. And to me, it's like she gets mad at me. She's like, I just feel like we haven't talked in a couple of weeks. And I'm like, I love you like more than anything in this world, Mom. I don't know what to even say because I do the same fucking thing every day in my life. So like, that's the thing I feel bad about. When she calls me, she's like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't really nothing. Like,
Dad's like, what's new? I'm like, no, we did the same 30,000 shows we always do.
That's so funny. I have that exact opposite thing with my mom. Is anytime I'm actually talking to her, it's always some crazy shit. There's always something.
The thing is that I have a great relationship with my mom. She's like really one of my favorite people in the world, but I just feel like I'm like, you don't, like we're in different places and like, do you really care about like
PlayStation Vita?
Yeah, like like so like that's the thing I feel bad where I feel bad. I feel like we should connect, but like I feel bad because I'm like I'm not that interesting. Like there's just I'm just living my life. If you could call it that.
But are you? Because this is the thing I always think about with my dad. And we had the the great conversation here, the exclusive a couple months ago on the GameOverGreggy show Patreon page over there, patreon.com/kindafunny. Cheap plug. But like when he calls and he starts talking about what he does at work, I have to imagine that's how he feels when I talk about what I do at work. When it's just like,
But no.
All right, cool.
You
You're
do
doing
cool
cool
shit,
shit.
though.
So does he. He builds buildings in Chicago.
But that's not cool.
He swung
That's
a
pretty cool.
90-foot crane
Yeah,
out.
okay, that's
that
cool
Did Spider-Man.
to a
It
very
didn't help
specific
Spider-Man.
group.
Exactly.
Oh, that's exactly what my shit is, though.
I get that, but
he
I feel
doesn't
like,
care.
But you can spin that story in a way that's relevant to everybody. Whereas I think a lot of the other jobs and like okay, buildings is kind of cool, but like accountants, I don't want to hear about shit.
Sure, but I'm
Don't do
saying
that
it's the
shit.
same way. I mean, like my dad doesn't turn
let's
on a
talk about your dad.
computer. I don't turn on a crane. You know what I mean? Like I have the jargon he's using is the same when I'm
He could just be making it up.
Exactly. He probably is. My dad's probably been unemployed for the last 50 years.
But that is a significant thing to me where I just feel so very disconnected from my family, and it's sad. Like I didn't intend on being in California for this long. Like I just didn't. I know none of my other family's ever leaving, so that's just not what they're gonna do. They're never gonna leave. So I decided to come up here. No one comes out and sees me, so it's not. And I try to get Dagan is a friend of yours now because you work on the anime series. Dagan never come to San Francisco. When he was younger, used to come and skate in California. Worked as an animator in LA for a while, but when Colin's here for the last 9 years, never see him.
He's got kids.
Nowhere to be found. He didn't always have kids.
It's true.
He didn't always have kids.
We're not even sure those are his.
So I feel bad, but I also feel like God bless him. Like my sister Allie's never come out here either, and like the office on the table with Allie, especially she's a single mom, and like I'm always like I'll fly you here. Like I don't care. I flew Ramon here, and
So that's the problem is it's not
Ramon's
about
not even
that.
related to me.
It's about you making the time for them. And that shit that's fucking.
It's just too much. Like because I don't know. Like I have unlike everyone at the well Ramon can relate. I have nieces and nephews, like a lot of them, and then like they're just growing up, and I want to be the cool. That's why I bought my nephews a PlayStation 4. I'm like the cool uncle in California. But
No,
like
that's what I do for my cousins' kids. Send them gifts and like Poe's kids and Noonan's kids, all them. Send them stuff because I know how kids work. Kids imprint on the toys they get and remember them that person's cool. That's why anytime I see these kids, I bring them things that are cool and do cool things for them.
Yeah.
So I'm the cool one.
Yeah, like I send my nephew, guitar pedals and records and stuff like that.
Can you send them cool stuff? You're just gonna be a
I
lame,
know.
weird
I know.
indie dad.
So I feel bad. Like I feel so disconnected from Dagan. Dagan and me and my dad have a tradition when I go home, we meet in Manhattan at Kennedy's, which is a restaurant, and we like just go and eat. But like it's never enough time. But then I'm like, well, people aren't calling me really either. I'm not really hearing from my siblings. Like I'm not really hearing. I get text messages, group blasts about things or whatever. But there's just a lot of disconnect. I'm not saying it out of anger. I'm like sad about it because like everyone else is together all the time and I'm not. And like I told you, they have a joke in my family for like years of like taking an action figure and putting it in like group pictures, and that's just me because I'm never there. And like I'm never not feeling guilty about it, because I moved.
Yeah,
So-
I don't know. I mean, I feel I started feeling bad recently about it where I'm like, I need to make more of an effort. I'm 36 years old. I should, as an adult, like make myself more available and let my parents know that like it's okay to text and call me. And it actually worked, and it worked hilariously yesterday because it turns out this is a hard story. So just
Stick with it. Strap
stick
in.
with it.
Make a sandwich.
My uncle, my great uncle, actually.
Uncle Lou?
I guess he was my uncle. He's a little older. He's still dating my aunt. So, it's like one of those weird situations where my aunt is dating someone.
Uncle and dating. I
Who's the
understand it
uncle?
well.
Anyway,
Uncle to
That's
be.
like my mom
but
and Dennis.
he's older. He's in his like late 70s, and they've been dating forever, but they never got hitched. And his mother died, and so it's unfortunate. But she was about 6 months away from 100, so it was a pretty great life. But she lived in Stockton and wanted to be buried in Stockton with her husband. But she died on Saturday, and Sunday was Easter, and so they couldn't transport her for like 3 days. And so he got the permits and he drove her in his own car. And we started making Weekend at Bernie's jokes almost immediately.
He's like,
And I feel insensitive about it. But my dad straight up does it. And my mom comes through with, well, yeah, so he did it so he could take the carpool lane because it's 2 or more persons. And I was like, fuck yes, you should text more shit like that to me. But I had to let them know that was okay. It was a weird conversation. And then my dad called and we
And
ended
you were
up
like,
talking
don't
about-
worry, no one will ever know these jokes you're making.
Oh yeah,
And then you just read the
terrible.
transcript
why are you
on the
having,
Game Over.
why are you having a
Whatever.
party in a beach house right now with your dead mother?
That's amazing.
I just don't want to be filled with regret. That's the only thing. Like that's the only thing I remind myself. When I go home and I see my siblings like once in a while, like I saw them all together last year about this time. It was the last time, and I'm like, we're all fucking old, man. My brother's like 42.
Yeah.
You know, like
we're adults.
Like, yeah, and I'm 31 and my sisters are in their late 30s and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what happened? And my parents are getting in their late 60s. And I'm like, what the hell happened? But really just time passed. I was 22, I graduated college and I just disappeared like fucking smoke up a chimney. And these motherfuckers are wondering where I am and what I'm doing. And I like feel bad that like I'm not more connected to them. It's just hard because I just don't. It really is one of those things where I'm like, I just am not that interesting. I don't have anything interesting to say. You know, like I feel bad. I feel like we can text and communicate on social media and all those kinds of things, but I feel like you're just kind of bored. You know, like, and I don't want to
because they're not part of this world.
Yeah. But I'm sad that I'm not part of theirs. I want to go. I really do want to move home. Like, but I just can't. You know,
you got to find the common ground though, right? And like that's what I was saying with my dad. Like my dad and I don't have a lot of common interests, but what we do have, like, he is super into accounting and super into real estate. And so I find the real estate aspect like fascinating after, 20 years of listening to him talk about it. I'm like, okay, I have a breadth of knowledge of this. But recently, as of the formation of this business, I'm like, let's talk about taxes right now. And we just bitch about them. And it's pretty awesome. Like,
that's great.
We found that common ground for like 20 minutes where he's like, well, I'll tell you got to do this. And I'm like, fuck, I'm writing this shit down. I'm like, this guy's going to think I'm smart when I come to the table with this, but it's really coming from Big Lou.
Yeah, man. The older I get, and as I'm going from a child to a slightly larger child, like I'm really realizing, like I'm pretty forgiving when it comes to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think this whole friendship thing is like the one thing that I really just draw the line, and I don't have any time for bullshit. Like none at all. It's like if you see me as an acquaintance and like you're gonna play weird games with me, I don't have time for it. Whatever you want me to be to you, I am that. Like my friends are my friends, and I think that the biggest issue people face is you're not making time for me or priorities or this or that. It's like people that know me and know that I'm doing what I believe in, they can either believe in that or not believe in it. And if I tell them, hey, I really want to see you, but I can't because I'm doing X, Y, or Z, and they get upset about that, they don't understand where I'm at. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's one of those things where that sounds insensitive, but it's like the people that get it, the moments we have are that much more important. And they know that like, they are a priority. Just because I'm choosing something over them doesn't mean that they aren't higher than everything else. And it's like, it's definitely a balance, but I mean, it's just like, there's so many great people in this world and so many people that I know that are in my life that I'm like, I don't need to, there's no reason to lower my standards just to like please people and make them happy. And I feel like I do that in a lot of other facets of my life. But when it comes to friendships, it's just like, nah, man, like just step your game up and be real. Like tell people what you need from a relationship and give them what they need and what they're looking for. Like, don't play games. People play games too much.
Quit playing games with my heart.
So here's what we're gonna do. We're taking a selfie right now. It's stick with me. It makes sense. I got a number. I got a text message, and it's from my cousin's husband, who was texting me right now that they were at Second City and there was a sign that said Big Greg and they thought of me. And so this is one of those interesting things of getting older, is that I've rekindled. I have no siblings or anything. Rekindled this relationship with my cousins who are older than me, not by much, but they have kids and they've well put together lives and have done things. Rekindled this relationship where we talk about my dad, their dad, my uncle, all this stuff. And so now they do the right thing. I get a text every so why is Batman fighting Superman? I gotta explain that. They're thinking about buying an Xbox. What's that all about? The kids love me. They think I'm exciting. I send the daughters the 5 seconds of summer or whatever. All right, hold on.
Why are we all taking this?
Because I'm responding back to him that this is funny because we're doing the show right now. Okay. Kevin, get in there. No, wait, hold on. I fucked it up. Selfies are hard,
That's why they have this stick.
3, 2, 1. Yeah, they do have the stick. We should have gotten that stick out for that.
We have a stick. Get the cinnamon toast stick crunch out.
I will say the other thing I'm cognizant of in this conversation too is like just I like to just be alone and like left alone, and that's not like a disrespectful kind of thing, but it's also like I'm a morose guy. So
you
like
are morose.
So like when my
and
mom,
macabre.
So like, but it's like almost comical and self-deprecating in a way. But like when I'm just like I just feel like I'm bringing people down sometimes. I don't know.
You're
it's just
not,
like,
but that's why you need to get out there and talk to
yeah.
people.
Well, I get really good with you, and Aaron and I have like really awesome conversations. But it's like, and I have great conversations with my siblings and my parents. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to like be a dickhead at all. I'm just saying like. I think I'm just very self-deprecating. I don't really believe in myself or anything that I'm doing is really interesting or relevant to say to anyone. And I'm just like, I don't know, like when I have something really exciting to tell you, I'll tell you. In the meantime, I'm happy to listen to you. I just don't want you to feel like the conversation's one-sided or I'm not interested, So I'd rather just.
The hardest thing for me is keeping it all straight. when you do have to talk to somebody and they start telling you about people that you don't know and they're telling you stories about people they work with or whatever, and the 15 minutes I'll mention a name and I'm like, wait, is that your manager? Is that what it becomes that little dicky video real quick.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you're supposed to know this.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's so funny.
Sorry. I only work with 4 people and
you know all of us. This whole conversation reminds me of a couple weeks ago. I was talking to my friends about our 10-year high school reunion is next year.
Oh, fuck you.
Which is hilarious.
Fuck you. God, I hate you.
You gonna go?
No, I mean, well, I don't know if it's actually a thing. Is that a real thing?
I thought you were gonna say no fucking way.
Really do that?
Yeah,
well, that's the thing.
I would never go to that.
We've been having this conversation of like, is it even worth going? Because like, I've had a 10-year anniversary any day of my life that I've wanted to. Like, I keep in contact with a group of people that I give a fuck about, and like because I'm from here and went to school here and stuff, like. I know the stories. I know all the through lines and the crossover events and everything that happened in my high school people's lives. And all the people that I don't know about, do I really need to know about? And then we take the Facebook level where it's like, I already know who got pregnant. Like, I know all this stupid, like, gossipy shit. So then you're like, all right, what are 10-year anniversaries for? It's for banging people, which I'm not in a position to do. I'm banging someone and I really enjoy it. Then there's
What
also...
up, Kevin?
There's also going out there
Wax that ass, Kevin.
and trying to see who succeeded and who failed. I could care less about that. And then it's just a matter of like trying to see if the hot people are still hot. It's like playing the ugly or the hot or fat game.
Yeah.
They either got the hot girls either got really hot or really fat, and the hot dudes same thing. So I'm like, I want to see how that all shakes out. But it's like Facebook ruined all that a little.
I know that's true. That's very true.
And that's the one thing about
like,
me in my generation or whatever is that I feel like, Facebook took off just as I was leaving college. So I don't like, I can dig through Facebook to find out about people, but I don't. But my whole thing was, like I keep in touch with the 4 friends that I really want to from high school, and the rest, fell away, right? If they pop up or say something, it's like, oh, hey, what's up? But I don't like go out of my way to care about them. And so when my 10-year reunion came around quite some time ago, I was like, no, I'm not going back for that. Fuck that. I don't care. I keep in touch with Poe and Noonan, Camps, Faf to an extent. But he's another guy, works on a farm. I got nothing to say to him.
Those weird ass motherfuckers.
Yeah, my 10-year reunion, I didn't go to mine either. I kind of regret it, actually. And I don't know why. I can't tell you why.
And that's why you answered yes before?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where if you go, you're like, no, don't worry about it. But if you didn't go, you might regret not going a little bit.
American Reunion looks so cool.
Man. I didn't go to mine, and I saw like pictures of that, and I was like, definitely didn't want to have any part of that.
Really? Well, mine was different though. Mine actually ended up being thrown by a guy who I used to be pretty good friends with in high school. Not great friends with, but like we hung out a little bit here and there.
Mark Cuban.
It was Mark Cuban actually, and we all got to watch whatever team he owns a game.
Dallas Mavericks.
The Dallas Mavericks who play basketball.
Is this for real?
Nailed it. No, that'd be amazing if Mark Cuban did not grow up in Riverside, California.
You never know. No,
but he ended up. It wasn't like an actual sanctioned thing. Like my high school just didn't have. Well, actually, I was in the student body my senior year, so I think me and the other guy were supposed, like my friend Clay, who was president, are supposed to be the ones that spearheaded throwing it.
So ridiculous to like.
But I'm like, I'm not fucking.
You were in the
that.
student body, so what was your?
I was vice president. Yeah,
nice.
It was the role that you didn't have to do anything at, but I got to sit on stage. And I got to lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah,
but I
you
had
did.
to do a speech.
Wow.
Because I was like, I want to be on stage, but I don't have a good GPA, so I can't be valedictorian. I don't want to be president because he has to do shit. And they were like, vice president. I was like, what does that person do? And they're like, you have to throw an ice cream fundraiser. And I was like, dope.
And was Jesse Spano the president?
Ate it all.
It was totally an episode of Saved by the Bell. But no, he threw it, and it ended up being kind of cool because it was all of his friends, which ended up being a lot of my close friends and guys that I actually wouldn't have mind going back and like saying what's up to, because I've seen them throughout the years and it was always fun. But I wasn't like heartbroken when I didn't get to go. And there was a couple people there that I probably didn't want to see, but then there was a couple that I did want to see.
Yeah, of course. I mean, those people exist.
Yeah.
See, that's my thing. If someone out there can get me an invitation to Lowell's 08 one, so the year
that's
after,
my thing. Is I was like,
I'm in. I'm fucking in.
Well, I wanted to combine it
because I want to know their updates.
Yeah. I wanted class of 93, dog.
Can you do the same thing on Facebook?
Yeah, but I wasn't friends with all of them. You know what I mean?
You're friends with one of them, you just figure it out from there.
I mean, yeah. Okay, great. Don't act like I haven't scoped all
Thank
of
you.
them out.
Tim knows what's up. Tim's got dossiers on
I just
people.
want to see them though. I want to know the facts.
Tim has fake Facebook pages so he can befriend these people.
I'm sure Tim does.
That's horrible. I would never do that.
I'm sure Tim does.
What are you reading Braille over there?
A joke that only makes sense to us, but it was so worth it. For those at home, we looked over at Kevin, and Kevin was doing this.
He was daredeviling it.
What the hell were you doing?
It's Photoshop.
Oh, I was staring at you for like so long until I brought everyone's attention to
We
it.
gotta put a camera on Kevin one of these days. Next time we do a big fundraiser, we're gonna get Kevin a camera.
We need a curtain.
Oh, it's so much fun.
We do. No, we do because you all distract. You distract.
It was a
God, it's so
beautiful
good.
Story, I'm sure. You know.
Ah.
I was